Okay guys, I'm going to have a little better attitude in this video than the one yesterday. This assignment's awesome. You will be winning at life if you can get it done. Okay, I'm talking millionaire kind of stuff. Okay, now, graph the function. You got to do something new to some of you. Identify the domain and the range of the graph. Now, this is an absolute value function. Y equals the absolute value of x. This is our parent function. So on this function only, because like the parent function of a line yesterday was y equals x. Parent function of those u's is y equals x squared. This is going to be actually a v, and you're going to see why here in a second. So I'm going to generate a table. 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2. So if I put 2 in an absolute value, the absolute value of 2 is 2 because 2 is a distance of 2 from 0. 1's 1, 0, 0, negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is not negative 1, it's 1. So back to 1, and then if I put negative 2, it's 2. Why don't you plot those? Now it's going to be our graph. So 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 0, negative 1, 1, negative 2, negative 1, 2. Okay? Alright, so I make the V. It's a V shape, not a U. Now this is how you do the domain and range. You label the middle. It's known as the vertex. Okay, 0, 0. Those of you I had 2 years ago should be familiar with that term, vertex. Last year, no, because, COVID. Now, domain's related to the x values, range is related to the y's. Now here's how you do your domain. You make an imaginary vertical line straight through your vertex. Now it goes on both sides of that imaginary line. So x is all real numbers. You can put ARN, and I'm good with it. Now the range, you make a horizontal line through the vertex, but that line I drew there only above the line. So I put greater than or equal to, well, greater than or equal to what? The y coordinate, 0. Okay, and that's it. Now, that's the only problem I'm going to make a table on. Now I'm going to start doing translations, okay? It's when the V just shifts. Y equals the absolute value of x plus 1. This, folks, outside, when something's added or subtracted after the grouping symbol, in this case the absolute value, it's known as a k value, okay? So I put 1, and then k values go up or down. In this case it would go up because it's plus 1. Okay? K values go up and down, just what it says. If it was minus 1, I'd go down. So instead of plotting in the middle, we simply just move everything up 1. Then 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. And there's the new V. Okay? Now label the vertex. That would be 0, 1 now. Now just like in the last problem, the x-axis, it goes on both sides of that imaginary line. So x equals ARN, all real numbers. Now the range, you make a horizontal line through the vertex and you put the y letter down, but when I make the horizontal line it only goes above. So that's greater than or equal to our y coordinate of 1. Okay, you can't get an output below 1. It's impossible. Okay. All right, next problem. Translate. That, folks, is a k value. Okay, just like the last problem was. It's called, I don't know why they call it k. They just do. To me, V would make more sense because it's a vertical translation, but I'm not the one who invented it. Okay. Alright, so translate, just put 3, don't put negative 3 or anything like that. If it says minus 3, you're just going to put 3. And a k value is up or down. Well, in this case, it's going to be down because it's minus 3. So instead of plotting the middle of the V in the middle, I go down 3 units. And now it's 0, negative 3. Now I do up 1, over 1, 1, 1. You're not going to do 1, 1 on every problem, as you're going to see eventually. But for now, yeah, because all you have to do is a k translation. Okay, now domain range gets rather repetitive. Okay, it's on both sides of that vertical line, so all x values apply. So x equals ARN, all real numbers. But the range is a different story. I make a horizontal line through the vertex, and the range is only above. So I write y greater than or equal to the y coordinate, which is -3. Okay, next problem. This, folks, when it's inside, is known as an H value. So I'm going to write 2 down. H values are horizontal translations, left to right, because here it's outside. The plus minus is outside, so it's a K value. Here we're dealing with an H value. You got to be careful on H values. Like K values are obvious. -3 is translated everything down 3. Okay? H values are a little different. You don't just go right because it says plus. Here's the way you need to think of it. Set the expression x plus 2 equal to 0, because you want to figure out what value for x brings that back to 0. Well, if I minus 2, it's -2. So I got -2, so it's actually 2 to the left. That's how it's the opposite. Okay? So I go 2 to the left. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? Okay, now the coordinate's -2, 0. Okay, x, y. Domain, x equals ARN. It's always going to be that way. Okay. Domain, you're going to have y, and you're only above that point, so greater than or equal to 0, because that's your y coordinate. Alright, next problem. That, folks, is an H value. So when I do the translate, I need to translate 5 somehow. And H values are horizontal, right to left, left to right, however you want to say it. But it's not just plus, you don't just go 5. You figure out, okay, what value could X hold to get that inside the absolute value back to 0? Like it is in the parent graph. Will be -5. Okay. Negative 5 is left. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do your thing with the thing. That made no sense. Okay, so the coordinate here is -5, 0, x, y. X is all real numbers, because again, it goes on both sides. But the range is a different story. The range is only above the vertex, so greater than or equal to the y coordinate, which is 0. Okay? Now, that's an H, that's a K. Now I've got both of them in the game. Let's talk about the K first. You're going to go 3. K's up or down. Well, since it says +3, it'd just be up. 1. Don't put -1. Just label these as positives. That's right to left. Well, H again, you got to do a little bit more thought than the K. You just say, what would X be? Might subtract 1, get to 0. Well, if I add 1 to both sides, it's 1 ohms. Okay, 1's this way. So I translate that vertex not only up 3, but I also go right 1. So that's 1, 3. Okay, because a forward 1, up 3 from the middle. So right there. There you have it. Okay. So X is ARN again. Y is only above a certain point, so greater than or equal to 3. Okay, 3. Alright, next problem. Now you got a new game changer a little bit. Okay. 3 times the absolute value of X. This, folks, is called an A value. And A is a multiplication value. So there's no H's and there's no K's, so there is no translation. None. Okay? When I have an A, though, there's a second category we need to make. It's called a stretch. Because what that means, I don't just go 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? I put 3 over 1. Now what that means, it's similar to a slope. I go up 3, forward 1, but then I go up 3, backward 1 from the vertex. Up 3, forward 1, up 3, backward 1. It just narrows the graph, okay? It's a stretch is what it's called. Okay, 0, 0. X is ARN. Y, that's only going above a certain point, so greater than or equal to the Y coordinate 0. You can't have a Y coordinate less than 0. Okay, not going to work. Okay, A. Again, if you see a number there that wasn't there in your parent function, label it A. Inside's H, and then plus or minus, and adding or subtracting outside is K. So there's no H, no K, so that's going to be no translation. So no translation of the vertex means it just goes here. But it will not be 1 to 1, it's going to be a stretch. -2 over 1, it's like a slope, okay? I go down 2, forward 1, down 2, backward 1. Down 2, forward 1, down 2, backward 1. And there we go. Now you got a little game changer on your range. X is still ARN because it goes on spans both sides. And 0, 0 is the vertex. Okay. Now Y, now you're not going to use greater than, you're going to use less than or equal to because you're only going below that point now, and 0. Again, it flips. The V is inverted when you have an A value of a negative. Okay, next one, that's an A value. AHK. So there's no H, no K, so I don't need to translate it, the vertex, none. But there is a stretch factor. Stretch factor is 1/3. So that's up 1, forward 3, up 1, backward 3. Up 1, forward 3, up 1, backward 3. It widens the graph. When you have, reason this one's wide and the other one was narrow because the factor, the stretch factor is less than 1 whole. You're multiplying by 1/3, so it lessens your Y outputs. Stretch it. Okay, so 0, 0 is the vertex. Domains ARN. But the range, different story, okay? Because you're only going above that point. Okay, so greater than or equal to the Y coordinate, which is 0. Okay. Next one, another A, no H, no K. That means no translation. Stretch. Because we have an A, -3 over 4. First, the translation's none, so 0, 0 is the vertex. -3, that means down 3 both times, forward 4, backward 4. It's like a slope, but you have to go backwards as well. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I graphed that point wrong. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, domain and range, all you have to do is look at your vertex. If I go like this, it's on both sides, so ARN, you put X equals. If I go like this, it's only below, so Y less than or equal to 0. Okay. All right, 3 more. That's an A, that's an H, so there will be a translation, and there will be a stretch. Okay, H, we write 6 down. H values go left, right, okay? So the H values, you set the inside, that expression equal to 0, and say, okay, what would X be to actually make that back to 0? Like the parent function. Well, it'd have to be 6, okay? 6 is this way, so it'd be forward 6, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no vertical translation because there's no K. So 6, 0. Stretch 3 over 2. So from that vertex, I go up 3, and then forward 1, 2, backward 2. Once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty fast, okay? So X, Y, X is ARN, all real numbers. Y, put your 0 and you only go above that, so greater than or equal to. Okay, you got all three on this one. If you have a negative outside, it's a 1. So you got an A, you got an H, you got a K. You got all three. So translate. Stretch. So the H and K translated. So K, 4. K values are up and down, exactly what it says. Plus 4 means up 4. Now there's also an H value, so I write 2 down, and H values translated horizontally. So x plus 2 equals 0. Well, I'd have to minus 2, and x would be negative 2. So negative 2 is left, so I'd translate the vertex 4 up and 2 left. Okay, you want to label that for later, so it's negative 2, 4. There's also a stretch. Not really a stretch, but it inverts it. We still need to count for it. Down 1 both times, but then forward 1 and backwards 1. Okay? Down 1, forward 1, down 1, backwards 1. Same thing on this way. Okay? Okay, domain and range. Domain, ARN, it always is, because every time I make a V, it goes on both sides. The range, Y, but if I mark a horizontal line, it's only below, so less than or equal to 0 to 4, because that's your Y coordinate at the vertex. Okay, last problem. No A value, H and K, so we're only going to do a translation. We're not going to do a stretch because there's no A. Let's do the K first. So 6, that's up or down. Well, minus 6 would be down. And then the H value 2. Now the H value, you don't just go, that's left to right, so you want to go plus 2, x equals 2. So that'd be forward 2. Really, you can tell just by looking at it, the vertex translates down 6, forward 2, the opposite of minus 2. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, forward 2. So that's going to be 2, negative 6. There's no stretch, so it's 1 to 1. That's your rate of change, okay? Alright, ARN on the X, Y on the domain. Only going above the vertex, so that would be greater than or equal to negative 6. Okay?